Hello, my name is Genesis Owusu. I'm at Amoeba, and this is what's in my bag.
This feeling I can't shake. Yeah, the smoke is getting dark. I already felt the blaze. What a beautiful mistake.
Let's start off with a classic, Prince, 1999. I feel like if you know me or my music, I think the Prince influence is like pretty spoken for, I suppose. I think 1999 is in my trifecta of like top tier Holy Trinity Prince albums. I think it would be, for me, it would be like Controversy, 1999, and obviously Purple Rain. When I was making my first album, I didn't have like a set, like this is how I want it to sound, this is how I want it to be, but when I was stuck at any moment, I would think like, what would Prince do? What would Prince do in this moment if he was like a Ghanaian-Australian rapper trying to make his first album in Canberra, in a rural town? And yeah, that got me through a lot of the roadblocks in making that first album. I'm pretty sure this album has my favorite Prince song as well, All the Critics Love You in New York. I don't know why that's my favorite song, but it's my favorite Prince song. It just kind of like meanders and hypnotizes for like 7 to 9 minutes or something like that. It's just like off the wall, insane, and I think it encapsulates a lot of what I love about Prince as an artist. I have CATAN Jr.
Each island has a number on it. Every pirate lair adjacent to an island with the number rolled gets one of whatever the island produces.
I generally like to think of myself as a pretty calm, fair-minded person, but whenever one of these comes out, it like flips a switch in my brain, like, and I turn into full Logan Roy, Succession, like the most scummy, blood-sucking capitalist.
There are rules. Right. Do you know something, Greg? There are no fucking rules.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time with this game, well, with the big boy Catan. I've spent a lot of my life in that game exploiting all the adults in my life, so I thought, you know, it's time to take the candy from the children.
And the rivers have gold in them.
To Pimp a Butterfly, my favorite album of all time. The subject matter, obviously, the way the music is layered and put together. I love coming back to something and finding something that I didn't find the first time. And this album is kind of like a treasure trove for that. I love it when I'm in. I remember it leaked. It leaked a week before it was actually like supposed to come out. It came out of nowhere, and I got home from school that day, and I sat in my room and I turned all the lights off, and I listened to it back to back 3 times, front to back, in the dark. And my brother like needed something from me, and he like opened my door and he just saw me in the dark, sitting upright on my bed listening to this album, and kind of slowly closed the door, pretended he didn't see anything. Yeah, I truly think it's definitely my favorite album of all time, and maybe the greatest album of all time. Akira, one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm a big anime guy. I think aesthetically, so much of my inspiration comes from anime, obviously. If you see this red suit and you've ever seen me live, you can probably point to where that might come from. Yeah, this movie is incredible the themes, the soundtrack, the aesthetic, obviously, the cyberpunk, rebel, street rat kids who end up becoming experiments of their like tyrannical government trying to create like world weapons, and I don't know, it's off the wall. Yeah, it's kind of exactly what tickles my brain in the right kind of way. The Great Adventures of Slick Rick.
This is a message that the ruler Rick threw, and it's true.
Slick Rick was one of my first experiences really appreciating the storytelling side of hip-hop, which was a huge thing for me getting into the genre in the first place. Before I started making music, when I was a kid, I used to love writing short stories, and then that moved on to poetry, and then that eventually moved on to music. So Slick Rick really resonated with me in the fact that he was literally just telling stories. And he was doing it in such a cool way with like his little like British accent and the huge gold chains.
Word. Now it might seem strange, you better take hints quick and make the right change. A teenage love.
It was very fun, and it was like kind of playful but kind of thuggish at the same time, which was like a really cool dichotomy. I learned of Slick Rick because I really loved the first Black Star album, and they did like a tribute to Children's Story, and then I went back in time and found Slick Rick. So yeah, great album. Another one, Fantastic Planet, or what's the original title? La Planète Sauvage.
Je vais l'appeler Terre, Terre, Terre.
This is another one that I found by listening to music and going back in time. I think it was on The Unseen by Quasimodo, aka Madlib. He had sampled a bunch of the music from this film, I think on Come On Feet, from that album.
Come on, Feet, do your thing.
Come on, baby.
Don't cop out on me.
So then I watched this movie, Insane. I like to go into most things blind, so had no idea what this was about, what I was getting into, which really elevated the experience of pure terror and confusion, which I love. Yeah, crazy movie. Highly suggest. And the last thing I have in my bag is Man on the Moon 2 by Kid Cudi. A pretty seminal album through my adolescence. It kind of feels like a unconscious or subconscious precursor to the type of music that I make a lot of the time. It's kind of hard to define. Obviously delving into Cudi's mental struggles, which, you know, at that time, especially in the hip hop space, wasn't like a huge thing that people spoke about, which was really enriching and important for a young person to hear at that time.
Give a fuck about your lifestyle. Give a fuck about a motherfucking lifestyle. Cause nigga, we live this shit.
And that's everything I have in my bag.
Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Stay blessed, stay blessed. You're killing me dead. My flesh be charcoal. Stay blessed, stay blessed.